NASCAR is launching an in-season tournament airing on TNT Sports in the summer of 2025.
And just like clockwork, NASCAR fans complaining about the most dumbest shit imaginable. Don't get me wrong, NASCAR fans have had a right to complain about stuff over the past 2 decades, from the point system to the current package, which, by the way, let me go on record in saying that this weekend's All-Star race is probably going to be boring as hell. Fans have a right to complain about the short tracks being completely dead in the NASCAR Cup Series. But when it comes to the most recent news we got regarding NASCAR's future, it's like, really? Y'all are really complaining about this? And the first story we're going to talk about is NASCAR's new tournament bracket. In 2023, Denny Hamlin came up with the idea on his podcast, and it goes as follows. The top 32 drivers make it into the tournament, with the number 1 seeded driver taking on the number 32 seeded driver, and so on and so on. It breaks down from 32 to 16, then 8, and then you have the 4, and then you have the 2 taking on each other in the final race. And whichever driver finishes ahead of the other moves on. So it's basically like survive in advance. Well, Denny Hamlin kept track of it last year, and in the final round, it was William Byron versus Brad Keselowski, with Byron beating him out. It wasn't an official NASCAR thing, but it was hella fun to keep track of. And now, NASCAR is taking that exact bracket-style tournament and implementing it into their season. The prior 3 races airing on Prime Video will set the seeding for the tournament as the sanctioning body tries the new concept during the first season in its historic 7-year media rights deal. And that's important to remember here. We are entering a new era in terms of media rights, with Amazon Prime, TNT, and Max coming along to broadcast NASCAR races. Amazon and TNT are splitting 10 races during the mid-season, and I'm gonna be honest, the mid-season can be the most dullest part during the season. Barring some random winner coming out of nowhere, the NASCAR playoffs are usually decided around this time. I don't see the problem with adding a little more incentive for teams and drivers to compete harder. And the best part is that it is not going to affect the points one bit. There's no points incentive with this tournament. It's all money, for $1 million as a matter of fact. And for TNT, it makes perfect sense to have this. Turner Broadcasting is not only coming back into the sport for the first time in over a decade, but it's only going to be for 5 races, 1 less race than they had in their previous deal. You also have to take into account that they've been covering the NBA for decades, and from the looks of it, they're about to get outbidded by NBC for the NBA rights deal, and the NBA just held their first in-season tournament, and it was a huge success. Denny Hamlin basically came up with the idea last year, and I'm assuming TNT during negotiations was like, hey, can we have something like this for our 5 races? And NASCAR was like, well, what do you know? We already have something lined up. While it's an entirely different concept, does anyone remember Winston Cup's Noble 5 contest? Yeah, back in the Winston Cup era, they had something like this, and without question, the greatest moment from it was Dale Sr.'s final Winston Cup victory. So I really don't see the issue with it. It's a fun in-season tournament for money, not points, and it's only going to be for 5 races. But of course, parts of the NASCAR fan base have to fucking complain. Don't we have a fucking overflow of gimmicks already? Why don't we trim those down and pretend to build up the dam of legitimacy that Slap Shoes discussed recently? WTF? Why do they need this? Don't need gimmicks. The goal is to win the race every Sunday and win a championship. I think this is dumb. Dash for Cash and Triple Truck Challenge work because it's the top 4 guys from the previous week, and it's 1 race. It's easy to understand and not really gimmicky. What happened when the first place guy wrecks and finishes last, and the 32nd place guy finishes ahead of them in the race and they move on? It's not legitimate. Then they probably get eliminated later. What? And this is a bracket. How is this gonna be hard to understand? This is really stupid in my opinion. I fear the broadcast will focus more on this than the actual race itself. Hope I'm wrong. Thanks, Denny. Gimmicks don't make the sport entertaining. A really good racing product does. Okay, I'll agree with the last part about the racing product, but come on. This is just something that's supposed to be fun. God, this is stupid. Fire Elton Sawyer, fire Ben Kennedy, fire Steve Phelps, fire Steve O'Donnell. This is absolutely disgusting, gimmicky garbage, and the amount of fans and praising this horrific decision is proof that NASCAR will never be properly gone from the gimmicky BS ever again. And this is by far the most favorite negative comment I've read. Done with NASCAR until all races count for the championship, and they stop taking breaks. By the way, during the break, do the drivers get milk and cookies? He's talking about stage breaks. And the replies to this are hilarious. You proved his point, and goodbye, fake fan. But along with those replies are fans who are also in the same boat as me. Y'all don't know about the Winston Noble 5, and it shows. Damn, these fans will complain about anything. It's similar to the Noble 5. They could go back to a season-long championship again, and they will still find a way to complain. Can people please give it a chance? The amount of complaining on here is insane. This literally makes the summer months, which are always boring, more compelling, and y'all are hating on it? Truly a bunch of crybabies. It's unreal. Why are people mad? WTF, it's a money race for crying out loud. Well, races. It's people being a bunch of morons. This takes nothing away from the races and only adds to things. People just want to stay mad at everything nowadays. The part of the fan base you refer to is going to be negative about literally everything and have been since Dale died. Move on and leave them behind. NASCAR is better without them. And I think that's exactly what NASCAR is doing. If an elimination style tournament bracket is going to upset you to the point where you don't want to watch anymore, then honestly, were you really a fan to begin with? I mean, seriously, like I said earlier, there are plenty of things that are worth complaining about when it comes to NASCAR, from the point system to the current next-gen car basically killing the racing on all short tracks. But a mid-season tournament bracket is where you draw the line now? Come on. Oh, and one more piece of news we need to discuss. This will only take a moment. Amazon Prime is going to be broadcasting the 2025 Coca-Cola 600. Now, for those saying, oh, this is a crown jewel race, why would they do that? Well, Amazon Prime has 200 million subscribers while people are cutting cable like crazy. And while it will affect ratings in the short term, long term, I think this is an awesome move. We've been telling NASCAR, hey, you need to get with the times like other sports have been doing. Get on the streaming platform. But of course, a lot of the fan base is going to be extremely negative. Like this guy. This race quickly became one of my favorites of the year, and you go lock it up behind a streaming paywall. Hope the viewership sucks and makes you guys second guess this horrible decision. I just showed y'all the numbers that more people are subscribing to Amazon Prime than cable. This is simply a business decision. It is what it is. In conclusion, some NASCAR fans make absolutely no sense. Do you want the sport to succeed or fail at this point? These moves aren't hurting the sport long term. They're not hurting anything at all. What is going to hurt is if NASCAR doesn't get its crap together with the short track package as well as certain aspects of the next gen car. Anyways, leave a comment down below. Do you agree with me? Do you think I stepped over the line? And if you think I did step over the line with the title and video, let me ask you this. Do y'all ever have a problem with me calling out Formula 1 fans in some of my videos, saying how stupid and obnoxious they can be sometimes when it comes to talking about NASCAR, as well as the Formula 1 elitism that is so toxic? We're gonna keep it fair on this channel, and quite frankly, some NASCAR fans simply need to calm the fuck down. I didn't hold back in this video, and I don't expect y'all to hold back in the comments below. And once again, that'll do it for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.